Started? Perfect, okay. So hello everyone, I'm here with Sean. So Sean is a good friend of mine. We're here in beautiful highland of Jamaica, Kingston, Jamaica. And Sean has showed me around and definitely educated me on a lot of things going on in Jamaica. So I definitely want to bring this information to you guys, and please introduce yourself, please, Sean.
Sean, as Inge said, we're good friends, African brothers by blood.
Indeed, indeed.
And by ancestral trace, yeah?
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah, so I'm just here to assist him with anything he needs to know, you know? Yes. Yeah, I'm here for that.
Okay, excellent. So we're gonna talk about three things, all right? I think we spoke about this briefly, but I wanted to catch this on camera. So one is I want to talk about the economic system in Jamaica. And you can go into detail as much as you can. One is the economic system in Jamaica. Two is the our Jamaica relationship to Britain and our and other groups in the world, and how that influences Jamaica socially, economically, and also maybe politically. And also the last but not least, so our Jamaica, the mentality of most Jamaican residents as we have it today, and how that helps or maybe holds them back to progress.
All right. Yeah. So first, you're saying the economical.
Yeah, they come. Yeah, exactly. They come with
right.
the goods, the bad, and how it's affected, right. And what affects it. Right.
Well, I'll be honest. 20 years ago, comparing 20 years ago,
right.
It's very different now.
Right.
We do have our pros and our cons. You know, there's been areas of decline, steady growth, and relatively growth, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so I think with the change of leadership between governments, each government did their part. Each government did have small amount of growth or steady amount of growth, but I think the current government is doing relatively good.
Okay.
When it compares to building the economy, creating jobs, etc.
Okay.
Mindful, it's not reflected on the entire population,
right.
Because there's still a relative part of the population that is impacted.
Right.
You know, so there's still unemployment. You know,
right,
there's still inflation. People can't afford
exactly right,
the basic.
So, yeah, we spoke yesterday briefly. I cut you up. We talk about the wages, how a minimum wage person pretty much living in deep poverty, and how the not just the wages but the living expense to live in Jamaica. I want you to kind of touch base on that.
All right. So yeah. So in terms of cost of living,
yes.
You know, in Jamaica, I realize it's for you to survive here, it's best to have your own business.
Right.
Or if you don't have your own business, you must be in a very good job.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're working in a average job, I mean you're leaving high school or probably college,
right,
having an entry-level job,
right,
you won't get a job that pays much.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's put it into perspective. Someone is leaving college seeking job, they get a job. Their average pay in US will be about $700-800.
Right.
Right.
That's
a college person.
Right.
Per month.
Right.
Per month. And from that amount, you'll have people paying rent. Right. Those who are paying rent will
food,
be like
things, right.
maybe 300 to 400 of that.
Right.
The lease.
Right.
It could be more.
Right.
It's a rental cost.
Right.
You still have electricity, water. You still have food to buy.
Right.
You know, you still need to go back to work.
Right.
Who drive to buy gas, etc. All of those stuff.
And on top of that, you have to basically live your life, you know.
Exactly.
So,
and you try to save, but you can't save because you're in debt before you even get paid.
Right.
And I mean, for those who don't go to college, because not everyone can go to college.
Right.
You have those people getting entry-level jobs again for maybe like say 400 US.
Right. A month.
A month.
Right. So pretty much you can't live on that sense. So what I would like to reiterate to you guys is just understand that living in Jamaica doesn't mean like it's cheap. It's very expensive to live here, I believe. Coming from New York, I would say it's very close, if not more, in some cases. Even though the currency is different, the living experience is extremely it's expensive. So imagine somebody living in a regular job, you know, can't even survive. And on top of that, once you come from poverty, you start to get loans to even go to college. So once your family come from poverty, the system is set up so you remain in poverty. So this is something I want, you know, you guys to understand, because, you know, when I go to Nigeria, when I go to different countries where there's African people, you can see that we all have the same problem. Maybe different contexts, always the same problem everywhere we go in the world. So that is very important for us to know, okay?
And the reason for that as well, because if you realize most third world countries or developing countries are constructed by first world countries. So the economy is the same, the whole structure is the same. It's just different person on the face of the country, but it's the same thing. You know, they're still in debt, you know, poverty, you know, lack of education, etc., etc. And if you realize there's segmentation in terms of there's rich people there. You know, there's a lot of rich people in Africa. In Jamaica, there's a lot of rich people. Millionaires, billionaires, I'm talking US, both in these countries. But it's not reflected on the entire population. You know? And the economy does work, it does benefit, but it benefits the rich mostly. A person of high regards.
So in America, they have this thing called trickle down effect. So the trickle down effect is like, so the more the rich spend, the money is going to trickle down to the poor. And that was their philosophy. But in reality, the poor actually spend more money than the rich. If you look at statistics of Mercedes-Benz, they say sometime last year, we started this 2019 and 2018, there were more poor people that bought Mercedes-Benz than any other group. And there's more black people that bought Mercedes-Benz than any other race, you know, right? So in the world, so the system is set up so that the rich actually benefits, not just benefits, but also that it benefits them for the poor to remain poor. So we have to really understand that. And we don't, in the concept of third world, I think I made a video with you guys. When they say third world, like in Jamaica, when I look around Jamaica, it's full of wealth, resources. Meaning the average citizen of Jamaica should be able to live very, very comfortably if everything was done right. Meaning comfortable, have their own car, have their own pool, have their own everything, naturally. Same thing in Nigeria, there's so much wealth. So now come to Jamaica that has all these beautiful foods, all the beautiful land, and I can say something about Nigeria, about Ghana. Why is it called a developing country? And that's kind of ironic, right? And me going to New York now, and I've been to a different Europe country, and that is called developed. When the land is frozen, when they can't grow anything. So the concept that they use to us to kind of create this kind of idea that we are like still babies and still growing, they can't reach that level. It's a psychological sense of warfare that, you know, that they use on every Jamaican, every African, every Nigerian, Ghanaian citizen. And I'm sharing this information, you know, for my brother, also by Sean, so you guys can kind of fully understand, you know, what is really going on. So going to the third part, I think this is very important. I want you to kind of speak on the relationship of Jamaican people, you know, African people in Jamaica, to other groups like Indians and Chinese and Europeans, and their correlation to British itself.
All right, so the relationship in terms of people who live here in Jamaica?
Yeah, I mean like their economic relationship, like example, like I know we drove around, I saw a lot of businesses, and I saw a lot of chain stores. And in chain stores, we spoke about Mr. Lee, Mr. Chin Lee, and a lot of chain stores were owned by other races. And that's why Jamaicans are not really benefiting from the economic system of Jamaica. All
right, so I don't know if you know this, but Jamaica did, and probably still has, the highest rate of starting a business in the world. So there's a lot of people with great ideas here who start a lot of businesses, but it dies.
It dies out.
For more reason than one. Right? One is probably, I mean, needing more creative ideas to sustain a business idea. Second, capital. That's always a factor. That's the greatest factor. Because most people with ideas don't have the money to bring it up. And when they approach banks or independent financial institutions or investors, you know, one, they'll say no, we can't do this because it needs to work for us before we can give you the money. But if it works, I don't need your money. Second, it will be easier to get a loan for a motor vehicle than to get a loan for a business. So even if I need 10,000 US to help my business grow, and I need a car loan for 50,000 US. You would think now I'll get 10,000 US for the business, because I can pay it back over a period of time. Just like how I can pay it for the motor vehicle. The motor vehicle is not working for itself. It's actually a liability, But the business is an asset. You would think that, okay, it's a no-brainer. 10,000, here you go. That's not the case.
And like, it's funny that you said that, because you mentioned that to me, and those of you in America, I think you guys can relate to this. I mean, in America currently, the same thing where they will give somebody. I told you earlier that, you know, African people in all over the world with more Mercedes-Benz than any other race. They will give you $50,000 to buy a car, easily, without much effort. They give you. You see ads in New York. Don't worry about your credit. We don't look at your credit. We don't worry about it. We just give you the money, right, to buy a car. But if you ask for $10,000, let's say even $8,000 for a business, it will be very hard to get that. So you know why that is? Because one, when I give Sean money, $5,000 for a business, that means I'm investing in Sean. That means I'm investing for Sean to thrive in the economy. I want Sean to become rich. Maybe I'm looking at, I see what he's doing. I think he has a possibility of becoming rich, so I invest my money in him. So, but when that's investing in the business, so the economy, or they don't want to do that, right? But when it comes to a car, what do? You pay car loans. You give in, but you're not getting anything back, right? In cars and whatever luxury that you do. So basically, you giving somebody money to become a slave, pretty much, to be tied to that, to be in bondage. So this same system is in Nigeria, but every one point in Nigeria is like they don't have, in terms of go to the bank, get a loan. You get loans, but if you want to buy a car, you buy a car wholesale.
Okay, I see.
Yeah, but the similar system is everywhere in the world. And going back to what you said, meaning economic growth, right? And it's true, because I could very relate to different countries I've been to, and even on the continent of Africa. We always have this illusion of just like, you know what, if enough of us is living good, we are fine. But people still control that system. The reason why people like yourself in Jamaica, who have such intellect, who can kind of who are creative and create different businesses, right, cannot get loans, is because we don't control financial institutions. Even though a Jamaican might be the head of a bank, the system itself is controlled by, like you said, the British. Yeah. So so not to talk too much about it. The point is that, like, until we create our own system that benefits us, run by us, nothing will change. So I want you to also speak into the relationship of, like, what is the mentality of the common Jamaican right now?
All right, before I touch that question, just to finish off the second
question.
Yes. As I said, there are pros and cons. So, as I said, compared to 20 years ago, there are a lot of persons, or average Jamaicans, that are able to create their own business, right? And even if you sell in the market, if you sell on the street, stuff like that, and it turns out that those jobs are much better than the office jobs. So people are leaving college and say, all right, they're going to work in a bank, or they're going to work at a law firm, or wherever. They're not necessarily making money.
More money, right?
So because they're paying a lot of taxes and spending a lot, So the person who is selling fruits and vegetables are making 10 times more than these people, right? So Jamaica do have this business mentality. They do. A lot of Jamaicans say, I want to start a business, It could be changing wheels, it could be selling chairs, etc. Most Jamaicans, I think maybe 70% of Jamaicans are like that. Love the idea of having our own business. And of course that is
creating and producing.
Yes. That is emulated from, I guess, seeing people with wealth, and striving to have wealth and etc. But with our economy, I think most businesses are owned by foreign internationals. So you do have the Chinese that are big players in wholesale, distribution of clothes, etc.
You mentioned yesterday, sort of cut you off, that I think you said 80% of the food in Jamaica,
about 70%.
70%.
Directly and indirectly together, because you do have Chinese who ship in the food, and of course they will sell it to black people to sell and distribute. But you also have this Chinese conglomerate that sells their own stuff. So Chinese will bring in the stuff, split it among Chinese, and they will sell, and they'll keep expanding and expanding. And what they realize with Chinese, they start a business, but soon you'll see one of their relatives starting a business as well, and they're helping that business to grow and grow and expand.
So they use their money to kind of invest in other.
Yes. Yes, and of course you do have overseas persons who are
Jamaican themselves.
They're like dual citizenship. So you'll have American Jamaican or European Jamaican, of course, mostly white people, Indian, Chinese, wherever. And when it comes to restaurant food, selling food, heavy equipment,
Right.
you know, whether construction, etc. Most of these players, directly and indirectly, are from overseas.
Right.
So I think most of our capital base in the country is controlled by foreign internationals.
Okay.
Yes.
So before we go to the next topic, the last topic, I want you to kind of speak on, because even myself looking at Jamaica and I'm looking at different islands, I was even playing with the idea of, you know, one day even buying property here in Jamaica. But you mentioned something that kind of stayed with me till this morning, that Jamaicans in themselves can't fully own the land here in Jamaica. They could kind of like, let's say, get a document saying lien on it. So I want you to kind of touch base on
All right, so I don't know if this has to be with because the Queen still indirectly
So
owns the land.
when you say Queen of
Queen of England.
Okay, the Queen of
Yes,
England, right?
because she's still the head of the state. We still have a Governor General, and we still speak.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
You understand? She's
Right.
still lead.
So basically,
she still owns the Parliament, basically.
So basically, the Queen still owns Jamaica itself.
All right. So I don't know if it's just in Africa or America, etc. But when you buy a land, it doesn't say owner of land.
Right.
You're owner of the title to the land.
Okay.
Which is different. That's a legal jargon.
Right.
So it gives the government the power, or the Queen the power, to remove it from the land
anytime, for any reason, right?
So whether it's a case where there might be gold or oil or whatever.
On the land, I see. Right.
Yeah, you can't be removed.
Right.
And you can't do anything about that. You can't be compensated for the money you have spent over the time, etc.
Right.
But you don't own the land.
Right.
Physically, the government owns the land.
Right. So what Sean is trying to explain is that, let's say I have a property for $500,000 American dollars and I bought it, and let's say down the line, as you mentioned, they find gold in the land or they find oil in the land, they could legally kick you off because you don't own the land. Even if you bought the land, even if you go through the process, you don't own
paying
it.
taxes, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So you don't pretty much own the land. You get you get a document saying
title.
You get a title saying that, okay, you're the owner of this land, but those title comes with an asterisk sign, meaning for any reason, for whatever reason that they choose, they can kind of take you off the land. So I want you to understand how detrimental that is for any regular Jamaican citizen. Even when that means that even when they get the highest level of wealth, even if they have all the money in the world, they still don't own their own land. Fortunately, there's some parts of Africa that don't have that issue, but there's other parts that have the same issue as Jamaica. So, you know, the reason why I'm making this video for you guys to kind of understand our seriousness. The kind of serious issue that we have as African people, because a lot of people think that when they have money and they have all this stuff going on, that they're free, and we are definitely far from that. Okay. And for the last stop, I want you to kind of touch base on the mentality of Jamaicans as it is, and I'm going to kind of speak briefly about my experience here in Jamaica, and then we end the interview. Okay, so talk to me about, like, what do you think of, like, what is the common mentality of Jamaicans as it is now, in terms of just everything?
All right. When you say Jamaican, it's a broad category. We're small, yes, but there are so many people and so many cultures in Jamaica.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is, like, what is it, if you had to make a poll, what is like the general mentality towards other groups, towards their own livelihood, towards their progress, so to speak?
All right. Jamaica we're affected by racism, for one. That's not an issue here.
So racism as in, like, because I know commonly there's mostly Jamaicans here, right?
Yes.
So racism as in what sense?
So, I mean, our motto is out of many one people. So there are a lot of different people that live in Jamaica. You have whites, Chinese, you know, Indians, black, etc., etc.
So would you say those groups also dominate or practice racism towards the black Jamaicans here?
Probably
anyway,
privately, but not publicly. You won't see a case where a person come and say, you know, you're the N-word, you're a nigger, etc. You won't see that. But you have classes in here. So you do have a group of people, whether by skin color or wealth, etc., will live in a certain areas. They will be in a certain network. They'll do certain business, and of course, those are the people that benefit from their group.
So would you say different groups do business with each other and keep out the black Jamaicans? Like they say, would you say Indians do they have Indian businesses
first?
Right.
So that's probably the first rule within their group, to do business within their group.
Right.
If their group cannot sustain it, then we go outside or group to get it done.
Right. So either say if an Indian, the first thing is to do Indian business, right, and tribe. Let's say they are forced to go outside of it, and they say they do business with a Black Jamaican. It has to be a sense of, because this is the same problem. It's an issue in Africa and also in America as well. Would it only be for their benefit, so to speak? Like, have you ever seen a situation where the Black Jamaicans rule as one, and the Indians are like under them in a business transaction, or just like that? Like
yes,
that?
it exists, but on a very small scale.
A very small scale. Okay.
A small scale. You will have white leading Black and white, Indian leading Black and white. It's always a case where the Chinese, the white man, the Indian, always on top, ownership leading the business. But you do have Black businesses, you know, maybe a corporate that's owned by a Black person, where they will get in white people to come work, or Chinese come work. So like Michael Eaton, he's owned the banking sector, etc. But most of his delegates, you know, are probably
different groups. And
so
it kind of tells me something very important. Sorry to cut you off. So I said something earlier about I said Indians, right, have their own group sectors. Like Indians will most likely hire Indian, if you're correct, right? And white, we hire white usually. So now we have Black Jamaicans who are in place of positions of wealth, who have their own businesses. And he said something that's very important, that they hire just anybody. Like they are not just anybody, but you know, they hire other groups. Like they on top, but as a Black delegate, they hire Indian, they hire white, they hire whoever, you know. While the Indians, not to say they don't hire Jamaicans, but their first around the sector is what? It's Indians. If I'm correct, if I'm wrong.
Yes, I know, but let me clear it up. With these groups, white, Chinese, whatever, the leadership positions. So whether it's management, whether it's controlling the money, etc., it's always be within their group.
Exactly.
So it will be the sub levels that they hire Black people.
Hire Black people, So I'm going to say exactly. So I'm saying, but first is within their group. Like
yes.
So they hire their group first, right? And then the sub levels, let's say the entry level, but the original, the power base, you know, where the money is always within their group, right? So my point is that, so when it comes to Jamaica, who has this kind of the same resources, right? Is it the same thing? Is it the same way Jamaican owns a state, and then with the money component, right? The management level where the money is that have you ever seen like where everybody's Jamaican, and the sub level?
Not for the major companies.
Exactly.
No. So like for the big guys in the business. No.
Exactly.
You'll have foreign internationals, you know.
There's somebody's people outside of. So that was my point exactly. Meaning, and the reason why I want to make this point specifically, and that's why I wanted to explain it so that we're on the same page, is because when I go to Nigeria, it's the same thing. You know, when I go to Nigeria, people will say, even if there was to hire Jamaican or Nigerian, it won't be Nigeria that lives in Nigeria. They say overseas. Because they say like, because you're from overseas.
Are you going to overseas college, etc.
Exactly. They think you're more intelligent. Why ask? The Jamaican that lives in Jamaica knows about Jamaica.
They can do their and chances are when they bring in people, when they bring in these big guys, whether it's CEO, whether it's accounting, etc. These same people will have to learn from the people in Jamaica because they don't know much. They don't know the culture, they don't know, etc. You understand?
So the kind of people to make Jamaica thrive will be the Jamaicans in Jamaica because they know the land, right? So it goes back to what I said about the mentality of the people, that outside of who they are, it's better. Like, there's somebody living in America, it's better. There's somebody living in Jamaica. So in Nigeria, somebody living outside of Nigeria is better than somebody living in Nigeria. So we have to combat this kind of mentality and combat these kind of ideas about who we are. Because Jamaica is a beautiful culture. I wish I could speak Patois, but unfortunately I can't. I couldn't learn it. I couldn't learn on YouTube. But all I could say is Wagwan. You know, that's all I could say. But I did very appreciate my experience in Jamaica has been very, very. Where all people have been, receiving me so well. I made a lot of friends, not just with Sean, but just the people in general. So also, just to get to Nigeria, you meet people with different mentalities. You have people who believe in Jamaica, who want Jamaica to be free from, to be number one and free from let's say the Queen of England, and just have its own currency, its own everything. So, and you have others who feel like subservient, who feel like, you know, they can't thrive without the Indians, without the Europeans, without other groups coming in. So I think it's very telling, and it's very nice that to have that kind of different experience. So I definitely appreciate Sean for joining us and for kind of making this possible. So and I love Jamaica. I appreciate Jamaica as well. So I look forward to coming back and you know, getting more experience and bringing guys more information about what it's like to be in Jamaica. And I do believe like more Africans should come here. One of the solutions that I think will happen is that I feel more continental Africans or more people from different islands should start doing business with each other and create this network of, I think we speak briefly about that, and create this network of wealth where, you know, if Nigerians have certain resources, let's say coal, oil, whatever the case might be, you know, and Jamaica, it's a land of its own. There's nothing wrong with Jamaica benefit from Nigeria oil, from Ghanaian oil. So those kind of connection needs to happen. So whatever Nigeria doesn't have, like some food idea I've never seen in Nigeria. I think Nigerians will benefit from it. Those kind of things, transactions should happen where Nigerians would enjoy Jamaica's culture, Jamaica's food, and we enjoy each other's wealth. So that is what I want us to promote, and I hope this video gives you a good light and a good enjoyment to say, you know what, this is what I want to see in my world. This is what I want my children to learn and to benefit from. So we have to create a better world for our generations to come. So, and this kind of education is what promotes that, what allows that to happen. So thank you so much for tuning in, and thanks Sean, my African brother in Jamaica, you know, in Jamaica. So, you know, he was a good man. He showed me around. So I had a lot of fun. So you guys hit me up, you know, follow, subscribe, and you know, I'll see you guys again. I'll post more videos as time goes on. So I'll see you guys again. Thank you.